Hey everyone, Nick Espinosa, your Chief Security Fanatic here, and today I am talking about China because China was just caught mass surveilling everybody. Millions of people in the United States, the UK, Australia, Japan, Canada, and India, and probably more. Now here's what's going on, and it's coming from a ton of different news sources, but I'm cribbing from Vice, who I thought had a really good layout for this. Now, a Chinese technology with links to Beijing's military and intelligence agencies has been compiling personal information on millions of people, as I mentioned, from the United States, the UK, Australia, Canada, Japan, India, and on and on. Now, the database, which is understood to have been stolen and leaked to the Five Eyes Intelligence Network by an anti-China activist, and the Five Eyes Intelligence Network is basically the US, the UK, Australia, Canada, and some others, basically was put together by a private firm in China known as Zhenhua Data. Now, they're based in Shenzhen, and they list the People's Liberation Army and the Chinese Communist Party among its main clients. Now, contained in this database are the names and details of 2.4 million people, including 35,000 Australians, 40,000 people in the UK, and a vast number of high-profile figures, such as senior politicians, members of the royal family in the UK, religious leaders, and military officers as well. The details are things like birth addresses, like birth dates, addresses, marital status, relative, political associations, which I found interesting, and social media IDs. Now, a lot of this data appears to have been scraped from social media and other open source material, basically freely floating around on the internet. But, and it's a big but, a lot of this data also appears to be sourced from confidential bank records, job applications, psychological profiles, and is believed to have been acquired via the dark web and other means. Now, the intended use of this information that's contained in this database is not totally clear, but Zhenhua Data, whose official website has since been taken down, which is never a good sign, claims that it provides, and I quote, services for military, security, and foreign propaganda, and it describes its mission as influencing, and I quote, the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. Now, the company's chief executive officer, Wang Shuafeng, has also previously used Chinese social media, specifically WeChat, to endorse waging what's known as a hybrid warfare. Now, this is a term that refers to the use of unconventional methods such as cyber attacks, fake news, influence like that, electoral intervention, to disrupt and disable an opponent without engaging in open hostilities. Now, where have we heard this before? Presidential election in 2016 with the Russians. The Chinese have been doing this, and I've mentioned this in videos before, not just here, but also Hong Kong, Taiwan, and any other place that they have a vested interest in controlling or disrupting. Now, in an official report on this Zhenhua leak, U.S. professor and cybersecurity expert Christopher Balding, along with another cybersecurity analyst, Robert Potter, pointed out that, and I quote, the data appears to be used to support Chinese intelligence, military security, and state operations in information warfare and influence targeting. Balding further described this revelation, and I quote, as something akin to discovering the Holy Grail. And to continue, we cannot be underestimated. What cannot be underestimated is the breadth and depth of the Chinese surveillance state and its extension around the world. The world is only at the beginning stages of understanding how much China invests in intelligence and influence operations using the type of raw data we have understood they've taken basically from the targets. This is insane, and this really underscores the problem that I've had not only with TikTok, but with other integrations of Chinese technology throughout the world. If you recall, Huawei was one of those that the U.S. government had a serious issue with. DJI drones was another issue that the U.S. government had issues with. When we have apps that are being developed, or software being developed, or information being taken and put out of your home country, meaning if my information is being stored in China, given China's data security laws, that means they basically have access to it if I'm working with a Chinese company. This is the very issue, and the core of this is because essentially business in China is symbiotic in its relationship to the government in a 2017 law, especially since 2000, or actually, I'm sorry, it's a 2017 law that especially underscores this. That's what I'm trying to say here, in the sense that the Chinese government basically says if you're a Chinese-owned business and you have information on, let's say, American citizens, the Chinese government is required to have that information. 2.4 million of us is a tip of the iceberg. It really is. I guarantee you there's a lot more, and I guarantee you they're collecting it from an absolute ton of sources. And what we've learned from this, it really is just the tip of the iceberg, especially when you have articles on the reverse engineering of TikTok and how it's gathering information on all of your other apps and your phone and the specifics, and it's querying the wireless network in your house when you're connected to your Wi-Fi, or your business when you're connected to business. These are the things that we really have to look out for. These are the problems that we are going to have. And in a data-driven world where we have a lot of cyber threat from one country to another, and the United States, I have no doubt, is running intelligence operations on China and everyone else, this is the disparity that we see. And if the general public and population doesn't understand that what they may be downloading is foreign created from a foreign source that may have ties to a potential adversary, whether it's economic or any other kind of adversary to the United States, they could be gathering intelligence and information that can be used against us. They're not necessarily going into our bank accounts and stealing our money, but they could be influencing how we vote in election, or influencing how we are seeing the world, or how we are seeing one thing when it should be seen the other. This is a problem that we have. And we're going to continue to have it until the world wakes up to this, until everybody realizes this is an actual thing. A lot of people that are watching me here or listening to me here are in the cybersecurity community, and by virtue of that, I'm preaching to the choir for those people. But if you're not, it really behooves you to share this kind of information. And this is not really a plug for me to share. I always say that at the end of my videos, but this is the kind of stuff people need to know. And if they don't, they're going to continue to just download apps randomly, not checking where they're from, not checking who created it. And that's a very serious problem, because it's going to lead to a lot more of this malfeasance. And especially if you're in a ranking position, let's say within a presidential administration, or even, let's say, the personal advisor to a congressperson or a senator or whatever it is, you are a target. It behooves you to have the same level of data security and cybersecurity that we want around a president, we want around our top military leaders, or even the Senate and the House and all of that. Please make sure you are aware of these things, because this is going to keep continuing and it's going to keep getting worse. And if we don't understand that, we are doomed. And that is your news of the day, unfortunately. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP. And please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well. And as always, stay safe and stay online and figure out where your apps came from. That's a huge thing. Thanks, everyone.